on septic. So that was kind of a unique experience for them too, which means how do you add fixtures when we have one fixture in this building for adults? And how do you plan for renovation and student fixtures if it's going into septic? And true, it's, you know, code to be licensed out for homes, but not usually schools. Then what goes over to Mountain Vista, and the concern there that I brought up to the board about possible leaching of the concrete foundations and stem walls is verified. So, Sean, go ahead.
John just kind of illustrated to the iceberg that we found just in our cursory review for an hour of walking with the staff. It's a domino effect too. With the leaching of the footings, we felt that the structural engineer should be taking a look to see how extensive is the damage or potential there is of the footings or some wall. We saw some visible cracks at the cafeteria wall, and it proceeded down through the footings. But overall, what the Institute, first off, we're happy to be here, and I just want to give you an example of what we did for the Casa Grande School District. With the facilities master plan evaluation, which our review includes, it will document current deficiencies that first is not applicable or meets federal, state, health, water quality, or even SFB minimum. There's a last letter that came from the SFB, the school's facilities board. It was dated about August 2005. They were supposed to do a walkthrough to get your campus equal, both your campuses equal to the current state of all Arizona schools, and that's what SFB's here for, is to equal all the education facilities throughout the state. That hasn't been done. So with this document, what we're able to provide is first a projection of maintenance, what's going to be a maintenance issue for the district over, say, 10 years. So you can establish your budget for either maintenance, capital improvement plans. It'll also document SFB requirements. If it doesn't meet SFB minimums, they'll be documented here for us to present to SFB saying, hey, Oracle School District does not meet the state standards, and this is the money or this is the deficiencies that we do have at our campus. And here's our findings through our mechanical, plumbing, electrical, structural engineers that we feel is necessary. Because typically we don't have to hire on those consultants, but based on our cursory walkthrough, we saw the evaluation that kind of John mentioned, the extent of items that we wanted to have the proper backup from the engineers and our consultants to document this for the state. And also help the district in maintaining your facilities and have a plan for the future.
I think your plan would be there, would give us really what we ought to have, but it's a sizable amount that's unbudgeted and coming out of instructional funds, and that worries the heck out of me. Okay?
This is our budget carryover that we...
I don't care what budget carryover is, John. Budget carryover is that's ML can go to the teachers. No, John, I think that's like the
Yes.
Go ahead.
Part of the reason we have carryover funds, and so if we do have something like this, the board approved hiring an architect. The architect came and did an initial evaluation, immediately brought in an engineer for a second opinion, and said, this is me as an architect, as a president of a firm, that this school facility needs this additional expertise in order to ensure that our kids have equitable and safe buildings. So, Dr. Bosma, I'm saying I've done my duty. I've brought this to you. I've brought the architect's two recommendations to you, and you as a board member can act on it. I've done my duty.
And now it's on the table for us to make the decision.
Correct, sir.
Okay.
Well, I hear what you're saying, Boyd. It is a lot of money. On the other hand, if you've got kids potentially drinking unsafe water, things like that, or you have electrical code violations out there and the possibility of fire, that's a serious concern.
I agree that it's serious, Mike. I think it's a matter of setting priorities.
I just want to make a comment. I understand that this is a lot of money, but the fact that we have some people here who are professionals in their various areas who have come up with this as a recommendation simply for safety and would have the ability to determine exactly what might be necessary and where we're lacking. I think that's essential, and I don't think it detracts from the fact that we have an advisory committee. I think the committee would benefit from having something like this available to them to study when they're trying to put together something for the board to look at by June. If we can possibly come up with the necessary money, I think for the safety of everybody who works at the schools, and particularly the kids, we need to go forward with it.
We don't have a master plan now. We can live without a master plan. It would be nice, but I can't see spending $63,000 for that. The work might need to be done eventually, but it doesn't have to be done in one fell swoop.
I think it's actually 50,000, isn't it?
Yes.
Ben, Mike, do you have another comment?
Just to kind of piggyback on what Betty and Boyd have spoken to, people I spoke to about serving on that committee specifically said, well, I don't feel like I have the expertise to evaluate buildings. And I think it's a valid concern. I mean, most of them are people not unlike myself. They just don't have the expertise. And they need information from professional people hired to do that kind of work.
Safety is not an immediate concern.
It was a structural.
Structure.
And that wasn't, we're an architecture firm, we're not a structural engineer firm, but like we're saying, we had some visual, we were here for about an hour and a half, just walking through to know how extensive the campus was, and as the OSHA representative said, it was,
Like, no immediate safety issues is what I have down.
okay, it was structural.
Structural.
Yeah,
Okay.
we agree on the structure, and there's a way to get it, or, you know, we want to see that we get at it when we can.
But to know the immediacy of something, we wouldn't know until we brought these other engineers.
Exactly.
That's
Until
why we
you
have insurance.
got it.